Is there any debate? Are you going to argue me when I tell you that Merab is great? Do you overly care? Like, there's conversations that go on, you talk about the greatest of all time, and it's kind of a fun one. 135 pounds is so wildly difficult from anything I ever had to deal with. The bigger you get in fighting, the more respect that you get, but the lighter that you are, the better you are at the game. And I just look at 135 pounds. There are more world champions floating around that weight class, not only than any weight class in the UFC, more than any weight class in UFC history. If you want to talk about the greatest to have ever done this and you don't bring TJ Dillashaw's name to the table, you lose credibility. You want to know who the greatest 135-pounder is of all time? You want to know? It was one performance, but it was the Cody Garbrandt that won the world championship. That animal, that version, I believe, could beat any other bantamweight to have ever done it. They say that about Mike Tyson. As great as Mike was, but they say that the Mike Tyson that got in the ring against Michael Spinks is the greatest heavyweight of all time. That one performance and that one time, I make that same argument with Garbrandt. And as I reminisce around that division, I look at everything that Merab did. I don't really know what stat to start to bring you. Should I tell you how many world champions he's beaten? Should I tell you the fact that he's one of the few people that has beaten an Olympic champion? Should I tell you that he had the longest win streak without getting a title fight at 10? Should I bring to you the fact that he has 14 wins in a row, and the most in UFC history, held by Anderson Silva, is 16? Like, when you look at Merab, it's very easy to imagine that he's going to get another couple of wins. It's very imagined to him he's going to get another couple of years wins. Now, how do you copy him? If he's so great and this is a sport you want to do and you're a young fighter, maybe you're in a spot like me, where you've got a son, and you want to give your son the absolute best advice that you can. So you look and you identify Merab, and he goes, okay, here's what we're going to copy. How do you do it? And that's where the problem comes. There is some things that you're born with or you're not. DNA is very real. They say about Lance Armstrong, I don't know if this is true, but they say that he had a mutant-sized lung. They say that his lungs, if you x-rayed him, was actually a third larger than the standard human being his size. I've always believed that to be true, whether that is or not. I had a teammate, Tony Overstake, tell me about another teammate named Shane Webster, that Shane actually had a bigger lung than everyone else, and that his VO2 max was larger. I've always believed it to be true, whether it is or not. Now, on Merab, he's also got the work ethic. Quick story on Merab. Merab, Sphere, year ago. Main event, defeats Sean O'Malley. And the next day, Daniel Cormier's got an interview with Merab. And Daniel's got to be, this fight takes place in Las Vegas. Daniel, film crew, up early to Merab's house at 8 a.m. And Daniel felt terrible about doing it. He's like, hey guys, I know you booked this interview with Merab, but you got to cancel it, man. This guy, he won the world championship. It's 8 in the morning. He doesn't want to do this interview. You got to let him slide. Crew says, no, we talked to him. Everything's on board. So Daniel gets out there at 8 a.m. with an entire film crew. Merab's not there. Got his garage door open, and Daniel can see he's at the right house because he's got the garage door, but there's like a heavy bag in there, and there's a wrestling mat laid out, and there's a bench press. So they just wait. They don't know what to do, so they stay there and wait. And eventually they're looking, and there's apparently Merab lives like on this really long street, and they're looking, and at the other end of the street, somebody is coming towards them in like a gray sweat outfit. And this image is getting closer and closer and closer and closer and closer, and it's starting to look like Merab. They just know that the guy that just won a world championship 10 hours before is not going to be out for a morning run, particularly with the celebrations that go on in Las Vegas. It keeps getting closer and closer. This little dot keeps getting closer. It's Merab. So Merab gets in and he's trying to yell. He's trying to greet everybody to his home, and he's trying to yell the hellos, but he can't actually stop to go give the hug or the handshake. He can't actually do that because his workout's not over. He's got to do the bench press. So he's yelling there. He's greeting everybody, please and welcome to my home. And he goes right over to the bench press. And he gets whatever sets out of the way. What Daniel said, he did like 50 reps. And he wasn't going for strength. This was a cardio workout. So when the whole thing gets done, Cormier talks to him, and apparently what they had missed is some kind of a shadow box for a warm-up, a 5-mile run, and then he finished up to an exhaustion set on the bench press. Now that story, whether you've heard it or not, that story has been heard. As a matter of fact, it was heard by Sean O'Malley. And Sean O'Malley respected it. I remember Sean speaking to it. And I remember Sean being very open and said, in my own personal life, if this is the creature that I've got to bring down, I have to make some changes. Sean says, I've sacrificed and I've been disciplined, but I haven't sacrificed and been disciplined to this level, and I'm going to change that. And I just thought it was very interesting. I thought it was very open and very compelling. Now, O'Malley spoke again. O'Malley is not afraid to share credit. He's not afraid when he looks at something to say, that is very good. And I appreciate that. Most people are so inclined when they want to bring the guy down, oh, he sucks, oh, he's not very good, oh, he's got holes, as a way of saying, I think that I can deal with him. But I've always appreciated when O'Malley sees a brilliance and says, there's a brilliance here. So O'Malley gave a breakdown of Merab, and he said, I'm not going right into that fight. I'm going to have to do something to prove my contendership. But then he said, when I do get in there with Merab, I'm going to knock him out. He didn't say I'm going to knock him out, I'm so much better. He was speaking from a cardio, a conditioning, and a tactical standpoint, openly saying, nobody, including me, can deal with 5 rounds in a 10-9 must system and get the jump on this guy. To get over on him, you've got to put him down. You've never heard it said just like that before. You've heard close, you haven't heard it said just like that before. Not by anybody. There's a rule in fighting, I got a lot of credit for it. I stole it from Mike Tyson. But Joe Rogan gave me credit for it. Joe Rogan has said before, Chael Sonnen says, I stole it from Mike Tyson, but the expression is simply, if you try to win by knockout, you're not going to win by decision. And in our sport where you have more than just a knockout, but you have this big emphasis on finish, it's very true. If you try to win that way, you're not going to win by decision. But that's not what O'Malley's talking about. O'Malley just said it in reverse. He just said, I can't go to a decision. I don't want to go to decision. The way to beat this guy is not through decision. And that is how most fighters' minds will work, including mine. In a worst case scenario, if we're out there all night, it's my will versus yours. It's my effort versus your effort. That's the worst case scenario. If we get to that point, who can win? Who's in better shape? Who's going to offer more attacks? And O'Malley said, no, the roadmap to Merab doesn't go through that. The roadmap to Merab goes through, and this is a quote by O'Malley, sniping him. You've got to be a sniper. You've got to see these openings. There's very few. When they present themselves, you've got to go. You got to have the power to make it count. He's right. He's completely right. I also don't believe that somebody can keep up with the pace of Merab. I also don't think that somebody in a 10-9 must system, the longer the fight goes, increases their chances. It's going to take somebody that's very fast, but it's going to take somebody that comes into the contest understanding, I must find the opening. I must take it. I must knock him out. And fighters don't generally talk that way. They generally talk the other way. I'm going to take him into the deep waters and all these stupid expressions that linger around our sport. But O'Malley's had 2 chances with Merab. And both times he came into it with the worst case scenario in mind, which is preserving energy and making sure I'm around should the 23rd, 24th, and 25th minute present itself. He hasn't come in with the attitude of respecting what his opponent can do and understanding when the opening comes, it's full power. Foot down, nothing on reserve, don't worry about later, take care of it right now. It's a very interesting perspective. It's a very honest perspective. I think that O'Malley's right. I really want to see it. Now that Sean has said it and he's laid out such an honest roadmap, we got to figure out how we get Sean back in there with Merab. That could be a conversation for another day, but I think a lot of coaches are going to listen to what Sean said. I think a lot of coaches and fellow opponents are going to want Sean's opinion. They're going to want to hear this. Hey, you've been in there with him. What did you experience? I think that O'Malley just gave away for free. I think he just gave to the world, whether those are bantamweights or future opponents. I know there's talk of Nurmagomedov. There's talk of Petr Yan. There's talk of Mario Batista, which is the one should he get through Nurmagomedov that I support. I think he just handed them the right answers. Now it's a matter of what do you do with it? And it takes a massive courage. It takes a massive courage because if things don't work out, recent example, Khalil versus Prohaska Saturday. Khalil used up every bit of his energy. He did not get outfought. He did not get outsmarted. He did not get outbeat. He didn't get outtrained. He did not get outperformed. He simply ran out of energy. And is the most vulnerable and the biggest fear of any combat athlete. Combat athlete's biggest fear is not failure. It's not losing the match. The biggest fear is that they run out of energy. O'Malley is saying, put yourself in that vulnerable spot. Run out of energy. Dump it all. Dump it now. Get rid of him or you're not going to beat him. That is a fascinating analysis, which, by the way, sounds right.